So today I'm going to talk about my 20 times project, um, what I had originally planned to do, how I would change it, how I did change it, and what ended up happening and what I learned from it. So my original plan was to create a set of instructional videos and articles dealing with safety in wrestling and how students could be safer so that they wouldn't get hurt practicing in the sport. So I began on this path, creating a couple articles dealing with the basic rules and regulations of wrestling, and a nutrition article which covered the different things that a wrestler is going to need to know regarding cutting weight, how to healthily do it, how much they should cut, and what they should be eating and drinking in order to fuel their body properly. So I had planned on continuing on this path, creating a series of videos that would help young athletes become better aware of what they should be focusing on regarding their body, how to properly train it, some workout routines, that type of thing. But unfortunately, I had some snafus getting into the wrestling room. Our club team had off for about a month, which means I was delayed in making videos, which is why there was that nutrition article. So what ended up happening was I had to go to plan B, that being just creating basic instructional wrestling videos. Now, one problem I ran into when I was trying to do that was that there are already a lot of videos detailing a lot of information for wrestling moves from people a lot more experienced with a lot more credentials than me. So what I had to try to do was create a set of videos for very basic beginners that are broken down into very easy to follow steps. So I didn't focus on anything extraordinary or extravagant in setups. In fact, I didn't do any setups in my videos. It was just basic technique with 3 to 5 steps for each different technique. Now this means that the higher level competitive you went, you would have to rely on more moves and you'd have to get more detailed instruction. But for just basic introductory, see if you like the sport, I think it turned out pretty well. So some issues I ran into in even doing this, along with, not having a room for a couple weeks, was having a regular practice dummy, which was one of my wrestlers on my high school team. Luckily, he's shown up pretty much every day this summer because he actually wants to get better, and he's been able to help me out a lot. He's a very good practice partner, so that wasn't an issue in the long run. Another issue was getting the ability to film these videos. So in the beginning, I had a lot of kids at practice because it's early in the summer and kids show up, which means I had people to not only practice my moves on to get a feel for them, but I also had people to film for me, which became a major issue later in the month. Eventually, we had one child at practice every single day, which means I have a practice dummy, but I had no one to film. So what I had to end up doing was I had my camera taped to a wall, and we would have to play it and then run over and do the move, and have to run back and stop the video in order to edit it, which became a major hassle for some videos because tape does not stick to walls very well. Let's see. Other issues. Again, just trying to make videos easy to digest for kids who have never seen the sport and don't know what they're doing was a major issue because we spend during the season probably a month just preparing kids for their first move, just and getting comfortable in the sport, understanding what they're doing, how to do it, and just getting their body ready, which you can't do in a 2-minute video. So that became one major issue, but we tend to get around that just by trying to make it as simple as possible. Through doing this project, I've learned a couple things. One, always have people committed to a project. And two, I learned that it's very tough to instruct people who aren't watching you. I tend to broadcast to a group of 10 to 12 wrestlers at a time, so just looking at a camera and having no reaction or response was very tough for me at the beginning. and I had to learn how to deal with that, which you can see in my later videos, how I've become more aware of the camera and how to address it rather than just pretending like I'm talking to a wall. So that was my major issue. Was in the beginning I got really clunky in how I was doing everything, but by the final couple videos I had finally figured out just how to be natural around the camera, which I had not known before. So that's pretty much what I learned from this project. If I had to do it again, I would probably change a couple of things. I would make sure that I had full materials and full committal from everyone involved. And I would also try to flesh out my videos a little more. I felt they were a little hastily done towards the end when I put them on YouTube, and that I could have added a lot more instruction, especially to the earlier ones, because I was still a little nervous in creating them. Thanks.